Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about getting our models set up for exporting into something like Unreal Engine or some other um, software where you're going to apply materials from that software onto your model. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to put in materials on our model that will allow us to do something like that. So this is the process that we're going to use. And let's go ahead and get started. Right down here is my house that we've been working on. And right now if I click on it, or actually open up the shader for it here, you'll see that we've got one material set up for our windows. That's why they're all transparent. And then we've got the original Lambert 1, which we're not going to change, and this Lambert 11, which is what the rest of the house currently is. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're going to have materials set up for each of our individual pieces that we're going to apply different materials to. And I'm going to show you that here real quick. It's an easy process. It takes a little bit of time though. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to decide where I want to start. And the biggest thing is we got to also make sure that all of our pieces of our house have appropriate UVs. So click on your UV editor. Make sure that you have UVs set up for your house, for all the different pieces, because we're going to be using these to be able to set up our materials. And I'm going to start with the roof since I have that UV up right now. So I have it selected, and if I hit Control 1 on my keyboard, able to isolate the house completely, or the piece that I'm working on completely. And you can see that I have all these different pieces of the roof. Now, what I want to do is I want to set it up so that the roof has materials that are on the outside of the house. So this part of the roof here where you see these beams. And then I want the beams to be a different color or a different material. The inside part of the house, which is along here, is going to be a different material. The fascia along the edge is going to be a different material. The roof itself will be some sort of a shingle material. And then each of these dormers will be set up so that they will have materials assigned to them as well to match the rooms that they're a part of. So we want to make sure that we have all these different materials. And there's quite a few for just this one piece. So the process is, what we're going to do is using my UVs to help select the different parts of the model itself. And I'll start with these wooden beams, for example. I'm going to go ahead and locate the wooden beams, which is this section is right in here. So I'm going to go to my UV shell. So right click, hold down your right mouse button, go to UV shell. And I'm going to just do a marquee select of these. And that's going to get those pieces right there. And you see they're all highlighted. And here in the main viewport, I'm going to right click and hold. And I'm going to go down here to assign a new material. And this window will come up. And I'm going to assign Arnold to it. And I want to use an Arnold AI standard surface. And I just realized that I'm hoping that everything is functional in Maya. I just did an update and refreshed my computer. So if I open something up and I'm missing something, we may take a quick break. So anyway, with the AI standard surface material selected here, I'm going to go ahead and rename this so that I know what piece of my house this is. I'm going to use M underscore, so M for material underscore, and these are going to be my roof beams. Okay, I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to select that, copy it, and then in my output here, I'm going to, right here where you see this other AI standard surface, we'll take a look at that in the node in a little bit and I'll show you what that is. But we're going to go ahead and just paste that name in there, and it's going to take a 1 at the end of it. Alright, so that one's basically set up, but the one last thing I want to do is back here in the main tab for the roof beams, down here where it says color, I'm going to go ahead and just assign it a color that'll stand out so that I know that I've completed those, I've got all those selected. And as I go through, I want to make sure that there's some sort of a color on every piece of the house so I know that there have been materials assigned to it. So with the beam selected, next I'm going to go ahead and just select the top of the roof since it's kind of easy. It's already been selected. If I just click on it, you can see that it's selected down there. And I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go ahead and again go to assign a new material. Again, it's going to be an Arnold AI standard surface. And I'm just going to go ahead and color it right now before I forget. Make it a nice bright blue color. And then right up here, I'm going to name this M_roof. And then this piece the same, M_roof. It's nice when the tabs open up like this for you. Sometimes they don't, as you saw with the last one. It dropped back to the attribute editor where we had all of the pieces along the top here for this particular model. All right, so now I've got 2 of those done. What I'm going to do now is on the inside, I want to show you a different technique, because right now we're just using the entire UV shell right here. And what I want to do is I want to apply to the inside of the house roof here a couple different materials for the underside. There's going to be like a painted material for the outside of the house for that piece, and then on the inside of the house it's going to be sort of like a stucco roof type paint, or maybe a more flat colored paint. So I'm going to go ahead and select this part of my model so I can see where it is, and now I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to face. I'm going to select the faces, and I know that these right here are the one side of the outer piece of the roof. And if I zoom in, you can see that there's probably this piece right along in here I want to select as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that again and get a little bit further over this time and select them all together. Okay. And I also want to get this smaller tab, so on the other side of the roof are these smaller tabs back here. And come on, there we go. I'm going to zoom in, and I can see that I'm going to just select those tabs just like that. So I'm going to hold the shift button, I'm going to do a marquee select all the way down and select those. And then for the outer piece of the house, that's this section right along here. This is the outer part of the roof again. So I'm going to go ahead and select, do a marquee select, so hold shift, select these as well, and that little piece right in there. And then I want to do the same thing for the other end. Do a marquee select of these, so hold shift again, select all the way down to that little one right there. So now they're all selected, and yeah, those are just lines. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and, with those selected, just double check on our roof here, make sure everything is looking decent. These are going to be part of where the wall meets, so it should be good. So I'm going to go ahead and right click, and I'm going to go ahead and assign another new material. Select Arnold again, my AI standard surface. This time I'm going to make it a different color, so we'll go with something like maybe yellow. I guess that'll contrast. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and call this M_roof underside, I guess. Copy that and do the same thing for the other tab. Paste that in there. There we go. Now we've got that done, and then we're going to do the same thing for this inner piece of the roof right here. So now I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit and just start to select these here. So when I click on it, it goes away. I want to make sure I also get this little tab right down in there. So the way to do it is to click it, and then at the other end, I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and do a marquee select. So I'm going to click inside there and select like this all the way down, and then I can just come back in and add in as I need to. Should be that little line right there. Select all of that, and I think we've got it all. Yep, looks pretty good. Alright, so now again we're going to right click, assign a new material, Arnold, and standard surface. This time we'll select something another color, like maybe red, stand out against it. And this is going to be M underscore, this will be our ceiling. Okay, hit enter, copy that, paste it. All right, so now we still have a few more pieces of the roof left to do, but I think you kind of get the idea of what we're doing here. We're going to select the outer pieces of the house. Where we can, it's not actually going to work there. We're actually going to come down here, do UV shell, and we can select the ridge line of the house all the way around. That'll get selected, and that'll also be the inside as well in here, and the bottom part down here. So this is going to be all kind of the woodwork. That should all be here. All of these pieces right in here. So I'm going to go ahead and select all of this. And I'm also going to select this. Now these are some extra pieces that are up, that are going to be up underneath the house. We're not going to be able to see them, so I'll just hold the right button down. I'm going to go ahead and select that. Select all those, and I'm going to go ahead and just put the same material on them, even though they're these ridges all on the top here. I'll make sure they have a material on them, but that's okay. So we want to make sure we have the insides, all of the inside pieces done there. So we go ahead, right click one more time, assign a new material, Arnold, AI standard surface, and I'm going to go ahead and make this maybe like a light green. We're going to call this M underscore roof woodwork. Copy that, paste it. All right, so now that's pretty much done. We're not going to bother with the dormers right now, because what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and pause this here. I'm going to finish up this model, and then I'll show you what it looks like, and we can kind of talk about how I've set those different pieces against. But all we did is either use the UV shell to select them, or we used face and selected the individual faces so that we can color them in different types of colors. So now I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, finish this up because it's going to take a while, and then come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, welcome back. So it's been a little while, and I think I changed up some of the colors as I was working. But what I want to do is, this is our house here, and I want to show you our materials. Okay, so here you can see that I've assigned quite a few materials to things like the bathrooms, different bathrooms, bedrooms, multiple walls and ceilings, the deck base. So everything that was part of my house, I have assigned materials to that we're going to have different colors on them. And what I mean by that, I think we can best see that if I click on the house outer walls and I hit Control H to hot, whoops, wrong one, Control Shift H. Not what I wanted to do. There we go. Let's bring everything back. I actually wanted to hit Control 1 to hide everything else. There we go. And if you take a look at the walls here and everything, because this is all one piece. And let me give you a tip. What I should do is go back and assign these walls individual, even though they're going to be the same material. That way, if I assign them individually inside of Unreal Engine and the material doesn't line up correctly on the corners, I can then adjust it. So one of the things you want to do is make sure that your outer walls are going to have different materials. So I'm going to go back and do that after this, but you get the point for right now. So when we take a look here, you can see that this red area is my first floor, and then this area back in here with the yellow is going to be my kitchen. My purple is going to be the floor coloring. Each of the different bedrooms have different materials assigned to them, and you can see that with these different colors. And even though these are both yellow, it just worked out that way. Those are individual materials there as well, and green. So all of these different colors are different materials, and in some cases, even though the same colors, they're different materials. So that is the way that you're going to approach it, so that you can assign individual materials to different rooms of your house. And if I brought back most everything and then hid the roof, you can see that that same thing has gone along with this upper floor here. The other walls are adjacent to it, so they're using the same material, but they are actually individually assigned different materials because they're different parts of the house. So when you bring it into Unreal Engine, if you decide you want to change your mind, you can make it so that these different ones along here, so this wall and this wall and this wall would be different materials. So you could change them if you wanted to, and same within here. All right, so that is the approach for getting all of this set up. Control-Shift-H to bring the roof back. So that is what you need to do to get all of your materials set up. And once you have this all done, don't worry about the bright colors and all these different colors. We're going to get rid of this anyway when we assign materials, and most likely Unreal Engine is going to assign these different materials individual colors anyway, so all this will go away. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you select your entire house. You want to go up to Edit, and you want to delete by type history, just to get rid of all that unnecessary history that's built up in our modeling. You should be doing that multiple times while you're working on the model anyway. And then we've already got all of our translates and transforms set to 0, but if you haven't done that, go ahead and go to Modify, and you want to freeze your transformations. And once that's done, what you're going to do is you're going to go to Edit, or I'm sorry, File. You're going to go to Export Selection, and then here under Export Selection, what you want to do is you want to probably put it back in your scenes for your project. And since I didn't set my project initially, my mistake, I'm going to go ahead and put it back in the project where it belongs, and it's in my Maya projects, and this is my house demo, and it should go into my scenes. So see how it goes into your project, and then I have these other ones down here already. All right, and this one is going to be changed. So right now you see my Maya ones here. What we want to do is we want to change this to export into something like for Unreal Engine, for example, would be FBX. So since we're going to put this in Unreal Engine, we're going to use the FBX to export it. And you'll see that I have one set up like that already. That's not exactly it. So I'm going to go ahead and call this my SM for skeletal. No, we're just going to go ahead and call this, I'll just go ahead and call it what it is. House Unreal Engine version. Wow. I know what I want to type. Can't seem to type it though. All right, so once I get that done, I'm going to go ahead and export this selection. And now that should be it. You may end up with a little error, something like this. Unable to export one of the materials, and since the project had other materials that were inside of it, it's most likely one of these other materials, not the one that's attached to the house. So something like a Lambert or one of these. Probably not the Lambert. Probably this right here, standard surface. All right, so I told you we're going to take a look at the materials a little bit. So I'm going to select one of these steps right here. Clear this out down here. So in order to bring it down here, you select it, middle mouse button, click and drag in, and it brings in this just basic material node right here. And then you can take a look at the import and the export, or input and output connections. So I'm going to click on that and select it again, input, output. All right. Oh, that's right. The reason why it looks like that isn't because I'm looking for textures. We don't have any textures on this. All this is just this basic material. So right here is the material. So that first tab that we named, this is this right here. That second tab that we named, this is the output right here. So this is what is going to be read for your output for your material for inside of Maya and also inside of Unreal Engine. So anyway, that's the basics to get this started. Once you get all this set up, then we export it into Unreal Engine. And that'll be the next video. We'll talk about getting our model into Unreal Engine and starting to get it set up with our materials. So thank you for watching this video. If you like what you saw, please like it and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you and have a good day.